All right, Big Bang. Today is Monday. It's February 8th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Snake Draft Monday. It's the day after the Super Bowl. So we figured there's no better topic than to draft than the worst days of the fucking year because today sucks and we couldn't have anybody else on besides our guy KFC. Welcome back, KFC. How are you?
I love when it's like what's like a horrifically negative theme for the dog walk. Let's get KFC in. So yeah, I'm honored to be here.
But that's always good when you're shoehorn where it's like Carl's been pushing this one for a while and it's just kind of one where today's the perfect day to do it.
Absolutely.
And it's when you think of the guest, who else are you gonna get?
It's gotta be me. So let's do it.
I mean, you're the Picasso of this subject. This is what you're known for.
What is interesting though is it's worst days of the year is a young man's game. Because as you get older, you got a wife and kids and a house and shit. Guess what, brother? Every day is the worst day.
So I was just gonna say it's like the scene in Office Space. The reason I'm pushing it is because that'll text me on fucking Sunday. Hey, you got an idea for a snake? And I'm like, every time he asks me, I'm like, well, today sucks. Like, what about just awful days? I'm in a bad mood, Ed.
So I do anticipate a one-on-one here between KFC and Carl, because if someone pitches a topic, that means I probably got some good ideas. And Carl gave me some examples that were awesome and were way above what I had. So I think it's going to be a good duke out.
Yeah, and I'm just a generally positive guy, so this is it's not really my forte here.
That Carl, you dropping that Office Space quote was maybe the best thing you've ever done on the snake draft. That quote is so fucking funny when he's just like, and it's a worse day than the day before. So if you think about it, every day is the worst day of my life.
the guy goes, whoa, that's messed up. It's the psychiatrist going, that's messed up, man. Sorry. Anyways.
Some parameters off the top, even though I'm sure we're going to get in a situation where there is an example that doesn't fit and whatnot. But I could use this topic because it's today, so I don't care. It might be tipping a draft pick, but it is the day after the Super Bowl. So that is a day that happens every day of the year. Whereas Carl used the example, putting your dog down, that's not of course it's a bad day, but that's not a bad day of the year.
It's not just shitty things that have happened to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Where White Sox Dave would have ran away with this like he did with AC, because that's how he slanted.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about how you've had a bad day, Dave, or like a bad conditioning test that you failed at your college baseball team. This is annual, but it doesn't have to be date specific. You don't have to say, that the date is April, whatever. If it's a day that, can fit within a window, I think it's case by case. And I trust through experience, we know how to have reasonable discussion at this point.
Yeah, of course. We're rational people that work together for a long time now.
The fuck was that, KFC?
Yeah, that's exactly what you guys are known for. Yep, that's it. When I think of Chicago Red Line Radio, I think of quality discourse with you two guys. Yep.
So KFC's listened to the show before, so that's good to know.
He's caught a teaser clip of fucking veins popping out of our heads. Before we get into it, congratulations, Carl. You won the last draft. Super Bowl shit. Stephen Che, a lot of controversy.
20, right?
Yeah, 20. Thank you.
Big 2-0. That's a big number, man.
And with the victory comes 20-second little primer. So I just want to say I am here for you guys. Monday, Super Bowl Sunday. This is my little pitch. The five of us are going to put together a great show. We know where this day is getting drafted. This is our best efforts coming your way. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's an honor to fucking snake draft with you guys.
There we go. Congrats again. All right, here's the draft order. KFC, Eddie, Carl, Chief, White Sox, Dave. White Sox Dave willingly had first option. He took the last pick. KFC had second option. He took the first pick. So interesting. We'll see. Without further ado, KFC are on the clock. Worst day of the fucking year.
Well, I mean, I know we're doing this on this day for a reason. And while it is high on my list, it is not number one. Number one worst day of the year for me. As I specified, this is a young man's game. So this all kind of comes from a time when I was still fun, still doing things, still having a good time and living life, because now they're all terrible. But I am going to go with It's such a fucking coin flip for me between these two. And I go back and forth on it all the time. Wow. But I'm going to go, only because in my later years, I've come to appreciate how bad it is. I'm going to go day after, when you go back from work after New Year's. The dead of winter, you pretty much don't have, you might have like MLK, you might have a holiday here or there, but you really don't have much till like Memorial Day. You probably just had like a week, in our case, like 2 weeks off. Now everybody's back at it. No more like you're fat from the holidays. You're pale, you're gross. Pretty much nothing good. You still have the football season, but other than that, you got nothing. So dead of winter, I'm going, January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever the day is, but day after New Year's.
Nobody in this room still has the football season. Like all of our teams have been out for months. But yeah,
I can't speak generally because I would throw that out there, and half of New England would be, "What are you talking about? We've got a Patriots Super Bowl to look forward to." And I was like, "Well, for the rest of us fucking schmucks, this is a terrible time. So fuck you."
It literally is once you get into the new year, the only thing you have to look forward to is the Super Bowl weekend and then St. Patrick's Day. If you're lucky to live in a city that like does a party and makes a big deal about something, right, willing to do that 10 weeks into a new year. Mm-hmm. Okay. It is an absolute fucking nightmare to live elsewhere, I would say. Mm-hmm. And there's literally nothing worse than when your buddy and your roommate has MLK Day off and you have to go to work.
Oh.
Or your girlfriend, or in my case, my wife. And MLK Day is a great holiday. President's Day, fucking Abe Lincoln's birthday. Any of those secondary federal holidays, we're like, maybe, maybe not. We'll see where we fall on the diversity scale. Like, that's just Russian roulette with a young man's emotions.
Can I be honest? That was probably going to be one of my picks. Would that have been a valid day?
Martin Luther King Day is the worst day? I think you might have dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah, I don't think we want.
No, more like the day you have to go to work and everyone else in your life has off. So
I would have not vetoed that.
President's Day. What?
I would not have vetoed that pick.
I would, because I think you need to be more specific. That's just too general. But we keep going, guys. Let's keep moving. We got a whole fucking calendar to fill.
I'm just gonna put the day after winter break. Does that work, KFC?
Yeah. That's fine. Perfect.
Do you want Christmas or do you want winter break?
No, do like day after New Year's.
Day after New Year's. Okay. Yeah, I mean, good pick. It's you could trudge the cold when it's a little seasonal. You got Christmas around, everything's decorated, but then once that hits, it's like
it goes from being romantic to miserable at like the stroke of midnight. Like that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so it's day after New Year's, but some people don't go to work day after New Year's.
So, all right.
No, after New Year's Day.
Birthday back from work after the New Year's break.
Okay, I'm writing. I'm just.
All right, so it's up to me. Like you said, you can go back and forth. We're doing this today for a reason, and I know both of our teams suck, but at the same time, it's always fucking proposed as a national holiday. And like I said, it's for a reason. We hit a major sports lull. February fucking blows for sports. We're basically waiting for March Madness. So I'm going to go with the day after the Super Bowl. And it's pretty clear cut, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody can argue with that. Like there's
a reason why it's happening today.
Yeah, it could be very easily could be the first overall. It has to be in the top 2 or 3. So everybody like here is just miserable because now football season's over. Like it's like you're stepping into the darkness. Like that's like we're just in the abyss now until March Madness.
Yeah, like you get your Sundays back, but then at the same time you don't know what to do with them yet. So it sucks.
I end up watching like a lot of Michigan State at 11 a.m. and that's not fun. I don't like that.
Yeah. So yeah, today sucks. Even though we're recording on a Friday, day after Super Bowl is my pick. I don't know if anyone has anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. You go big on Super Bowl Sunday. Like if you're gonna draft it, like do you traditionally Super Bowl Sunday, Ed? Like do you find yourself at midnight hammered?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of depends. Like you said, more like college years. Like, yeah, you'd have a few beers, but not anymore. So if we're drafting throughout the course of our lives, sure. Like there was at one point where you're like, oh man, this is brutal. But now, no.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a sense of dread come this Monday. NFL's over. Guess what, guys? It's fucking Bulls and Blackhawks.
Yeah, especially if you like to gamble responsibly. Like, you really don't have the big shit to bet on. Who wants to bet on like regular season NBA and whatnot? Until March Madness, you don't have anything big.
Yeah, it's like Big Cat says, it's a sandwich. That's the last bite of the sandwich. It sucks to see it go, and today sucks. Today's the end of the sandwich.
And I'm gonna get fucking roasted for saying this, I'm sure. I've never really liked blowing it out for the Super Bowl. Like, I was never a huge go to a party guy and get completely. I kind of just treat it like any other football Sunday. So the last day of the football season, to me, isn't a huge deal. I think there are other way worse days of the year.
We'll find out.
We will.
Well,
we will find out, Dave.
Might be the worst day of our lives. Literally. I mean that very literally. This day.
I know. You're very right. Carl, you're up.
So I want to say the difference between, I would say, the first two picks, KFC, you had to describe the name of that day. I think just the fact that Eddie can say Monday after Super Bowl, there's just a little slight factor there. And that's why I'm going to draft third. I think there's 3 brutal days. KFC got one. Ed got one. I'm going to take the other one. Historically, first day of school. I mean, it's in the name. First day of school. So as a child, I'm literally come mid-July just counting down the days. Like, how many more fucking days do we have to go back to school? Fuck going back to school. Going back to school sucks. The only thing that was going good about going back to school was the 2-3 week grace period where I got to use the excuse, I'm still in summer mode. That's why I got in trouble. I'm in summer mode. Best excuse in the book for a kid.
Now, are you talking like college or middle school? Like, what age group is this? Just all?
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about going back and like rushing the frat and doing all that shit and like burning down
high school and younger.
Yeah, like first day of school.
I think you're trying to put me in a box here because I got caught on a hot mic with one of my picks. Now I feel like I have to burn it right now.
Well,
you don't have to do it.
I mean, this has nothing to do with you.
I think it is. I think you heard me talking on a hot mic to Danny before we got started.
Right, so
and now I have to take this as my first pick.
We opened up the draft talking about I got 20 wins, and now it's
For the people that don't know, before KFC and Dave hopped on, me and Carl were entered the chat, and Chief just sitting there lounging and talking about all his picks.
Tom was scrambling to get the thing connected, and Danny's asked me, like, what's on my board. I told him because I was the only one here in the office, and now it's like, now I have to take this pick.
You have to.
I have to.
But let's first talk about first day of school picks. Does anybody dislike it?
No, that would have been my pick if it got to me. That's an awful fucking day.
Did you hate school, Dave?
What's that?
Did you hate school as a kid?
I hated it was like a 9-to-5 job. I mean, it was fun being around your friends or whatever, I guess, but it just fucking, so you got homework coming up. You can no longer fuck around with the boys in the woods, burning shit down when you're like 10 years old. You didn't start fires in the woods when you were like 10 years old?
No, I did. It's just funny when you characterize fucking around in the woods.
Yeah.
And Chief is someone who hates the woods.
No, I don't hate the woods. I just think the woods are scary. The woods are fucking scary. I don't hate the woods at all.
Listen, if Chief is going to draft next what I think he's going to draft, then I think he has a better pick than Carl for the simple sake of the first day is not that bad. Because you're seeing your boys, the people in your class, you're slapping high five.
Are you just going to do my pick for me? Because I'll just do it.
I mean, do you want to say it?
Yeah, I'm taking the second day of school. First day of school is a fucking breeze. You come back, the girls are usually like kind of dressed to the nines, like everyone's trying to make a good first impression. You got your new sneakers on. You're kind of sort of like excited to be there. And then the day itself is a breeze. You're going around your classes. It's a bunch of bullshit. You don't have anything due. They're handing you your syllabus. You're on fucking autopilot. You're having recess. You're doing all like the fun stuff on day one. Day two is when it gets real. And you're like, I got 9-10 more months of this staring me in the face. Second day of school, 1,000 times worse than the first day of school. There are some
silver. Let the record show Chief liked going to the first day of school. Chief looked forward to it.
Hand
Chief
up.
Looked forward to going to see his friends he didn't see all summer long. Been hanging out all summer. What do you mean going and high-fiving your friends?
All right.
Sometimes you're away for the summer. Sometimes you have it's a different social circle once you get into school. So
and like Dave said, you spend the whole summer fucking burning shit in the woods with your boys. You get back to school, you see a couple bitty bops, the girl you got a crush on. You see some people you don't see in the people who don't burn shit with you in the woods that you're still friends with. You got your new sneakers and your new clothes on. There's a little bit of excitement around the first day of school.
I don't think there's such thing as like a second day of school, which is great. Hey, Chief, if I'm not, it's a great pick. Kudos to you. Godfather 2 is a very good movie.
Better movie.
I'm not fucking around.
So,
Second day of school was number 3 on my board. I did not have first day at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Very
I'm surprised.
interesting.
I'm surprised, Carl, is someone who's very good at these. And I know you're going to have a lot of good later round picks, but I'm surprised you went that over second.
well, you need a big net. Okay. All right, guys. Like, again, we start the draft. I have 20 wins in my name, and it's just a lot of
This is
surprise
where
here
Carl
and there.
gets on tilt. You get a little criticism early, and he starts to come
Yeah,
unravel.
I mean, I win 45% of these things. It's, at some point you'd get.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick, Chief. Like I said, I had it my number 3.
I'm proud of you, Chief.
Hey, thanks,
Yeah.
guys. I mean, that's fucking
Shocking.
patronizing right there, Dave. I am a
No,
better
good
drafter
pick,
than you.
Chief.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And needless to say, we'll toss it over. The wraparound Woods boy, you're up.
So KFC, I kind of disagreed with his. He said the first day back after New Year's. I'm going to say the Sunday before the first day back after New Year's. So typically, like if the it doesn't matter where the calendar falls. If New Year's is on a Thursday, you're not going back to work that Friday. You get the whole weekend off. You'll get that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday obviously off. And that Sunday, you just sitting there, like Kevin said, you got like cold sweats going. You look disgusting. You feel disgusting because you've eaten like shit. You're telling yourself you're going to get in shape tomorrow, but that 2-month stretch of winter in Chicago is just staring you right in the face, and you're just sitting there like you're just laying on the couch all fucking day with the worst Sunday scaries of all time. So I'm going to Sunday after New Year's.
Bro.
KFC.
Your reason you're scared is because my day is coming next, and that's the worst day.
I think having the scaries is worse than actually like getting up and doing your normal routine.
Your worst fears lie in anticipation. Somebody smart said
Yeah.
that sometime. So I don't know who said it, but it is a thing.
The
Being scared
piggybacking in this draft is going to be some of the most.
Oh, no, Carl. Don't you try to say it. You heard me on a hot mic before your pick, a half hour before. Don't
His
say it's
rogue hot
piggybacking.
mic.
Don't
Fuck
say
your
it.
hot mic.
What's the reverse of piggyback?
You know what,
You're
though,
doing the opposite. You're boxing him in with the head.
Dave's kind of got a point. It's
No, he doesn't.
well,
Bro,
if
Sunday scaries are a thing for sure. Sunday scaries are a thing.
Winter is awful. It's
The
fucking
reason you're
horrible.
terrified is because the bad thing is coming. So the worst thing is when it happens to you.
But that's all normal. You like that's the like
No,
the fear of-
listen, I do understand your point. We're going circles, but I'm just saying on Sunday, yeah, you're scared. You're sitting on your fucking couch. You're watching TV. You're laying in your bed. You're eating. You're ordering food. The Monday comes, you're sitting at work in the cube like an asshole.
is it worse to be scared of getting murdered in the woods or getting actually murdered in the woods? That's the question.
There is the question. You're right.
I think the fear is worse.
I'd rather not be murdered, but okay.
All right, Dave. So I'm going to put the last Sunday of winter break. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. You're up again.
This one's easy for me. Mine's the last day of baseball season, so it's not a calendar day because it obviously, but that counts, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it happens- okay. So I did the live stream with Kravis and Dallas.
You're
Braves.
real sad when the World Series trophies handed out.
Literally just sat there in silence for 5 minutes because we had no baseball. It is the worst fucking day. Because I love football, but it's a 1 day a week thing. It's not like for baseball, I plan my nights around posting up either at the stadium or in front of my TV. And when obviously we didn't have it this year, but like when I don't have that anymore, it's like, what the fuck do I do now? Like I got nothing. The only thing I care about is my sports teams. I don't care about people, my family, friends.
Mm-hmm.
All of them can fuck off. And when I lose that baseball season, it's like my entire soul's ripped from my body.
It's a preference pick. Baseball's your favorite. If for everybody who like all sports, it's like, all right, now it's November. You know what I mean? Or, now we're getting into like, what NFL teams are good. There's going to be some good games on the stretch. Like your sports void is filled. There's going to be bowl games. There's big college football games coming up. So I don't know. That's my argument against it.
Understandable. It's a personal pick for sure.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, it's a sad fucking day. It's like depressing. It's really depressing.
It's a White Sox Dave pick. I mean, this is chalk White Sox Dave. This is textbook White Sox Dave. If we had to write a book about White Sox Dave, I'm not going to give this pick a chapter, but it's certainly a footnote. I don't mind referencing it. And it's expected, and I like it. I think Dave will, we have a lot of fucking, I shouldn't say a lot of, but I mean, there's an anonymity. Did I say that right? With the graphic now? And Dave is doing himself a favor here by planting a flag saying, hey, baseball guy.
I think Kevin's a huge. That's your favorite sport, right, Kevin?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, my situation is a little different because I also usually feel like a sense of relief when I don't have to deal with my fucking team anymore. But I definitely get it. I mean, when God forbid, like the day your team, if you want to get specific with it, when your team gets eliminated, like
awful.
All right.
Can't
Dave.
wait for baseball season. I cannot wait.
All right, Chief, you're up.
All right, I'm taking now. I don't know like the science or like the actual date if it's the end or the start of daylight savings, but this is like a cube pick where you go into work and it's dark and you come home from work and it's dark. So whenever the sun sets by 5 o'clock, the first time you come out of work and it's dark, that's my pick. So when it's just
cocksucker.
What?
Yeah, that's
Daylight savings.
Daylight savings.
That was that's a good pick. Right?
the first day.
The
right?
first day of daylight
Daylight
saving. Yeah.
But do you know what month it is? Do you have an idea?
I tried to look it up right here. They say so. Daylight saving starts March 14th, and I think it ends in the winter. So that's
spring forward, fall back.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? You think it ends in the winter?
Daylight saving, yeah.
Yeah, it's September. It's usually around September 20th, 21st, 22nd is the winter solstice.
Yeah, it's not daylight savings though.
The summer solstice is in March, and that's when the days get longer. That would be considered a great day.
All right, I don't want to get into like a solstice off, but summer solstice is June 21st.
I mean, you're drafting it.
I'm taking daylight savings. I'm not taking the solstice. I'm talking the first day when you come out from work and it's dark. When it's dark at 5 o'clock.
You guys are talking about two different things. Carl's talking about like the day, like that, like scientifically sun-wise, we have like the most light or the least light.
Yeah.
But I think the days that we change the clocks are what you're talking about, right, Chief?
Yeah. Whenever there's one day where like the clocks. Yeah. When you come out of the office and
when do you think we change the clocks?
For daylight, Carl. But my pick is that day whenever there's too much darkness where it's dark all the time, where it's just darkness all the time. Yeah. Put that on the graphic.
You don't change the clocks in the solstice, do you?
No. It's
March
14th is when it starts in 2021.
In November.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, it's the first day of daylight saving. Everyone know. I know what you mean. There's a lot of people are poking holes for once.
November 7th is when it ends this year.
That's a strong pick though. I feel like I had it on the list. I think almost everybody maybe.
I'm about to draft it. He took it out of my mouth.
It's the worst. There's my number 4. It's a Chief. Strong first 2 picks. Interested to see how he fucks it up, but strong first 2 picks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a bad day. It's a bad day. You just know you're doomed when it gets dark.
Dude,
it is. Carl, you're on the clock. You're on the clock. Just
I'm done. Am I?
Yeah.
I thought Ed's still talking about it.
No, I would like to move on to you because you're scrambling for a pick, so I'd like to
I'm not scrambling for fucking picks here, pal. I'm not scrambling for picks at all.
We'll see.
I know what you're doing, Chief, and I know what you're doing. I respect it, Chief, as a tactic, but
it's a tactic. Yeah, it is.
No, my old job, I would start at 7 a.m. and I'd leave at 5, so I wouldn't see a single ounce of daylight.
No, it's the worst.
It's the fucking worst. I'd get there at like 6:45, and it'd be dark. I'd leave. It'd be 5 o'clock. It'd be dark.
Yeah. And listen, the clock's about to be to Carl, but if I do want to make an argument, Chief's also the guy that said he likes light in the morning rather than after work. So that is kind of tough.
It's not that I prefer. I like if I had to choose between the two, I would choose morning light. But
tough for Mr. Barada
Did you just say it's not that I like it more, but if I have to pick between the two?
No. It's not. No, I misspoke. But it's not like I like it when it's dark at night. Like I obviously don't. But if you have like gun to my head, you can either have light in the morning as you're like getting up and starting the day, or night when you're on your couch watching TV, or light when you're watching your couch on TV. Like I'll take the morning light, but like it's neither one of them is a good situation when it's just dark all the time.
All right.
Carl.
Yeah, Carl, you're up.
I think it's interesting that Eddie points out that inconsistency I'm going to take – this one's actually easy. I'm going to stay – I'm not getting creative yet. I'm going to keep my creativity for the third, fourth, fifth rounds. I'm just going to take Tuesday after Labor Day. That's such a classic. Summer's over. And I know the NFL's here. I know college football's here. But summer's fucking over, and it's time to get to work. And I think a lot of people would agree their best work is done in the month of October. Their second best work is done in November leading up to Thanksgiving. That's when people are at their most productive. I think it's an instinctual thing due to human harvest rituals that goes back tens of thousands of years, this is the time of year to get it going. And when Labor Day is fucking over, that kicks in. I hate it. Tuesday after Labor Day, I'm done.
Great pick.
I'm stunned that almost made it back to me. If I got that with my second pick, I would have been fucking thrilled to go after New Year's, after Labor Day. The Labor Day one, when you're young and having fun and enjoy summer, Labor Day is awful. You give the keys back to the house you rented. Everybody's done. Everyone comes back to work. All the vacation days are done. That is brutal. The only reason why I went with New Year's over that one is I also, as I got a little bit older, felt a sense of relief where I was like, I don't have to go booze another like 15 weekends in a row. Like I'm free from this fucking hell. So in that case, that was going to be my pick.
I'm up.
Oh, fuck. Go ahead.
Sorry. We got to save that. Yeah, great pick. Tuesday after Labor Day, like you said. I love it. All right, so I'm up. I will take. Listen, it kind of plays into Tuesday after Labor Day. After that, there's not much. September, October, and you sludge through. There's not many off days. Then comes Thanksgiving. You get off that Thursday. Most people have that Friday. The next Monday fucking sucks. I'm taking the Monday after Thanksgiving. You fucking ate yourself near death. And you watch football, you're fucking lazy. Then you got to look ahead. You're like, oh, do I really got 3 weeks left until Christmas? So I'm going the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Bad thing about Monday after Thanksgiving, too, a lot of people are like getting caught up and they mailed it in that week before. And so that Monday is like a big email day.
Oh, yeah.
And Monday, fucking emails. And email Mondays. Just unbelievable in corporate America.
It's a bad day. That's no doubt. Like that could have been a first round pick and I wouldn't have blinked.
Yeah. So I'm happy to get that. It's a fucking shitty day. I don't think anyone would say otherwise. And
it's probably a good. I bet it's a high day for traffic accidents. I bet the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Why? Because of the turkey?
I just think people are distracted. You got guys lending against their 401k, double mortgage. It's tough. You just did Black Friday, heads in the gutter, got to hit your sales target.
Yeah, so that's my pick. KFC, you're up. That was yours, wasn't it?
Well, no, but I have a similar pick. I think I'm going to stick to it. This is a little bit predicated upon perhaps your job. So I might be getting too specific, but I'll call it a common man pick because I think a lot of people some people won't, but a lot of people will identify with it, is the Friday after Thanksgiving when you have to go to work. A lot of people who don't have Black Friday off, when everyone else is like, it's holiday mode, I got 4 days off and we're kicking off like the mail time month, not worrying about anything until after New Year's, but you got to go right back to the dick sucking factory on Friday. Everyone else is like doing their shopping. They're laying on the couch eating leftovers. It's starting to get cold. It's starting to get dark. And you got to just get back out there. And then you're in the office and nobody's fucking there. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? So while I hate the piggybacking, I'm going to stick to my guns Friday after Thanksgiving.
Have you ever worked it personally?
Yes. And the only saving grace, and this is what you tell yourself, when you do go to the office and no one's there, you like put your feet up and you only go for a couple hours and you're like, hey, it's not that bad. But if you had the choice to just sleep in with the rest of the fucking world and eat your turkey and cranberry and stuffing leftovers, you for sure would have took it. So you can rationalize it all you want. But if you're in work that day, it's suicidal.
I've worked it too. It's fucking awful. I could not agree more. It's awful.
Bad.
You hit the nail on the head. I didn't draft it because of I figured the majority of my life was with school. I had it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of took everything into account here, but you're right. It's fucking awful. There's also a lot of sports that day too. Like there's like fucking, like there's there's I think it's rivalry weekend. So there's like games at like noon, college football. So that's a shitty day, dude.
It's if you work for one of those companies that make you come back for that one singular day, like you automatically have a boss that's just
Quit.
Dude, that's the thing. I remember writing this blog being like, it's not even so much how much that day sucks. It's realizing that you are at a point in your life where you're so insignificant that they make you work on this day. And the fact that you can't take it off or you can't, blow off work is like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking nobody. And that is a soul crushing realization.
You try to put in the PTO like a few days beforehand and it's everybody and their mother's already done.
Yep. Oh,
and you're like one of the few assholes in the office. It's fucking awful.
Bad. Good pick when you consider that, but it's.
So what does that say on the graphic? Black Friday or?
Yeah, I put Friday after Thanksgiving when you have to go to work.
Just Friday after Thanksgiving. I don't know. Pretty self-explanatory. You listen to the show, you hear his reasoning. It makes sense. You're up again, KFC.
I'm gonna go with kind of what I just mentioned a second ago. Day your favorite team's eliminated from postseason contention. The first day that you don't have, or in my case, that's like a 4-time a year sort of thing. But I'll specify it for like your team, your sport, that moment that your team is done, and especially if you were like a real contender, is always stings like a little bit more, like a day after a 2007 collapse. Like that was the actual worst day of my life, I think. So if I can generalize that into a yearly thing, I'm going postseason elimination.
That's a good pick. And that is like another Johnny Common Man thing. Like everybody's got that team that like they care about the most, and like the weight of expectation. Then it's just like, why? Then it's when you're in that black period where they still have regular season games, but they no longer matter, and you're like, am I watching this or not? You're just like, fuck, it's over.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat when it comes to sports, pretty much.
Right, that's the thing. Like you might have a different job, you might have different vacation days, all that shit. Anybody who watches sports, anybody who's a diehard fan, 99% of us each season are gonna have that moment. Only one fucking fan base gets to live a year without that. The rest of us have to go through that.
And it's that heavy sigh when you start your car and you turn on sports radio and it's just all about like the future and all about how shit sucks. It's bad.
Yep.
I haven't had to really live that the last 10 years or so. And now that I think the White Sox have a legitimate shot at winning the World Series, the day they get eliminated will be the worst day of my entire life.
At least at postseason contention, Dave.
Like assuming they make the playoffs, which they should, the day that.
No, but yeah, I know what you're saying is like when the Mets get eliminated by like July, yeah, that the day that happens always stings a little more. But if you are in the postseason or you do have hopes, then it's really ratcheted up.
Amplified times 1,000.
All right, I'm up. I'm going to stick with my theme because I think when you have these holidays and you come back, those are always the worst days because you fucking yearn for your youth and you remember how it was. So I'm going to go the day after 4th of July break. It's summer and you think like this was fucking awesome. You also go a little bit harder in the summer. So you're more kind of you're hungover. The scariers are worse.
Yeah. You're day drinking videos and shit and backyards. And in Carl's case, maybe a garage.
Hey. Yeah. You might have had a fucking bottle rocket burn your hand a little bit. Like it's just not good. You got your 4th of July shirt just sitting on your floor that you're going to look at as you leave for work on Monday.
You've never lit a bottle rocket. Shut up.
But yeah, that's my pick. And you think about how, wow, if I was just a kid again, I'd have had this whole fucking summer, not just a couple days. So the day after 4th of July break is my pick.
Mm-hmm. Strong cosign. A lot of the theme for this shit is usually day after a good holiday. And we picked off a lot of the big ones where it's like you go from the highest high to the lowest of lows. Good pick.
Yeah. Anyone, anything, or we'll move it to Carl?
I think it's a good pick. Yeah, I think it's a very good pick.
Yeah, you don't have to really say much. Everybody's in agreement. It's a good pick. It has a place on the graphic. And everybody can commiserate in their misery with the day after 4th of July.
All right, Carl, you're up.
All right. This is where I'm going to turn it up a little bit, get a little creative here. You guys are welcome to veto this one. This is subject to self-esteem. I think every single guy and girl in this world goes through this on an annual basis where there is one time at least, usually once, heavily notable, where you look in the mirror and you're like, I got to go to the fucking gym. And then you go to so it's like the day you realize, it's not the day you go to the gym the first day back or any of that shit. It's like the day you realize that you're like a piece of shit and you need to get into shape.
Well, that goes back to that Office Space quote where like every day is the worst day of my life. So
it keeps getting worse, man. The bar just keeps moving. It's like, well, I don't look that bad if I can, I got to be 180 pounds, 190 pounds, 200 pounds, 210. That just keeps moving, brother. That's every day.
Yeah, so like it's usually for me, it's like the week leading up to Christmas where I'm like, Jesus Christ, like really, dude? Like I know you like to drink beer and smoke the occasional cig and all this stuff, but like,
I'd say no, just because I don't think it's a finite day, like we said.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
like every
it doesn't
day.
have like a concrete.
Oh, you guys
day.
are vetoing?
I'm gonna veto because it could be in July, it could be in June, it could be in December.
That is true.
It is I mean, we all have been there, and I fucking hate sleeping in hotels because the mirror is like
full body mirrors are bad news.
oh,
awful, and I'm like,
how about putting on clothes in a changing room? That's one of the most offensive experiences an adult has to go through. Those things are so small. There are mirrors everywhere. There's nowhere to hang your jacket. People just open it up. You're just fat as everywhere. Fuck changing rooms.
I'm with you on that, and that's why I started doing more online shopping to avoid that exact experience. But now I just have a room, like a closet full of clothes that don't fit, and I don't want to go through returning them. So I just burn money.
It's a loophole in e-commerce.
Yeah.
Loophole. They just they know you're not going to
all
return
right,
it.
here's a quick little story. So
Boy, Dave.
Here we go.
Let's go, Dave.
Nick was fucking with me, and I can never tell Nick Tarani. I can never tell when he's serious or when he's not serious because he's just such a wild card. And he said everybody was dressing up for the after show yesterday. Well, I bought a pair of dress pants to go to when I went to Vegas a month ago, and I didn't try them on. I went to Nordstrom's, just got my typical size that I always get for every pair of dress pants. I put them on in Vegas, and that fucking button was about to go supernova and put someone's eye out. It was so bad. And then I come out here. I didn't have any fucking dress pants, so I was going to have to go to Nordstrom's. I'm texting KFC like, yo, no content between you and I. Do I got to dress up? Can I just wear jeans? And I was like, hey,
so tempted.
Christ.
I was so tempted to be like, I rented a fucking tuxedo, dude. Like, of course you gotta dress up.
I knew you would have known. That's what texting.
The way in which I tried to go along with it, I said, Dave, you dress up for however you feel you need to dress up for this event. I'll leave it up to you. But then I caved and I said, you're fine with jeans. Could you imagine if White Sox Dave put on a pair of slacks last night? He would look like such an asshole.
I cannot even imagine Dave wearing, and I mean like slacks, pleated, tailored, Joseph A. Banks fucking slacks, not Banana Republic, not off the rack, not Gap.
No nothing. The crease down the middle, the covered bottom. Oh man!
But one of my favorite pictures of Dave is from Carl's wedding, where he shows up like that's like the only dressing up he knows how to do is like wedding attire. So like to have Dave dress for a wedding for a Barstool thing would be, that would have been great.
He wore a cowboy hat with Air Force Ones. You're gonna act like there was that much of a difference if you wear slacks? Come on, we kid.
Great fashion sense. Fuck off.
Nah, but yeah, I'm unfortunately, Carl. I think I'm gonna have to veto too. I think you knew it might have been coming.
Yeah.
Great topic of banter though. I enjoy this banter here.
Yeah, because I think that's something
Yeah.
we go through, but I understand it may happen a couple times here and stuff. I wanted to give that shout out because I know that happens for everybody across all. It doesn't matter how old you are, like whatever. It's with me. It has always been with me. Okay, I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna fucking take Valentine's Day. I've never liked that day. That's a day, even if you're in a relationship with a girl and she's like, yeah, I don't care about Valentine's Day. It's fucking February 14th. She wants flowers. I don't give a fuck what she says. And if you don't have plans, they're like, yeah, we don't worry about plans. Plans aren't a big deal. Oh yeah. Until fucking Sarah's got plans and Sarah's texting your old lady and she's like, oh, did you hear so-and-so's got a dinner special? And you don't have any of that shit ready. It's a real check and loaded with self-guilt if you're in a relationship and you can hardly take care of yourself. because you're like, I can't even do that. Like, you're like middle of Valentine's Day, like online looking at like flowers and stuff. Like, do these get delivered? Can I pick these up? Like, how much? Oh, that's the charge for the credit card? Whatever. Whack it. I'll fucking pay that interest later. Valentine's Day, that's a day. And a lot of guys are like, I don't even care. It's not a big deal. No, it'll haunt you. It'll haunt you at some point in your life.
You know what it can do is it can accelerate a relationship you maybe don't want to accelerate.
True.
You know, you've been hooking up with a girl for like a month, and then it's Valentine's Day, and it's like, well, if I do the flowers and the dinner, then we're like official, and if I don't, then I'm an asshole. You're stuck in a weird spot. Flowers are jacked up. The dinner is like, it's all, everywhere you do go is like prefixed, and it sucks. It's a shitty holiday that has long-lasting ramifications that go well beyond just like, oh, the flowers cost a little expensive.
Yeah, I've wasted 2 years of my life in a relationship because that happened to me. So like, we're talking about years that you could fuck up your like 20s by just being like, I guess I'll do flowers and a big dinner, and then it's like, well, now I'm in this relationship, so better be very careful.
Oh God, yeah, it's just one of those things, and then it's like, you know, maybe I'll do it right this year. No, you won't. No. Like, it's just, if you think like that, the answer is no. It sucks. Whatever.
In many aspects, like you said, if you don't have one, it's the official hot seat of the year, day of the year. It's that and her birthday. Then it's like, okay, we got to make a decision. Like, what is this actually?
Yes.
That's Valentine's Day.
Are we?
But you also can't really break up right before. You kind of have to go through it, because if you break up right before, you're an asshole too. So it's a bad holiday. It's a bad day.
You gotta be broken up by like January 10th.
Yes.
Or you gotta ride till like March 15th. So you got
2014 if you're me. Like, if that's what you have to ride to.
It's a lock-in clause.
Yeah.
All right, Chief, you're on the clock.
All right, I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna take the Monday or the first day back after Memorial Day, because the summer is, that's kind of a chalk pick, but the summer is ahead of you, which is good. But it's also the first time you're like, man, I have somewhere better to be. Where it's just like, which could be anywhere. It could be the fucking parking lot of your office, where at least it's warm and nice, and you see like people outside doing stuff, and you're locked in the cube. That's a bad fucking day. I think in a way, it's worse than the winter ones that we've talked about, because like winter, like, what are you doing? You're sitting on your couch. Summer, it's like you could be out drinking and actually having a good time. And you see, like, especially now with Instagram, some people are like, they have like summer, like, I don't know if that's a thing in New York, but summer hours. Like, I used to be super jealous of people in Chicago that I knew, like, oh, like, what do you mean? We get off at 2 on a Friday. Like, fuck you. I'm stuck in the cube. And so having that, like, just dangling from in front of your face right outside the window and you can't get to it, that's the worst day for me.
I think the interesting thing with me is, I think being able to look ahead, I think is what makes it more bearable. Because it's like, I just got to make it to like Thursday, and then we're doing Thursday happy hour on the roof, and then Friday I can go back to the beach. But also, it's like the feeling of like, we got a whole I gotta go like balls to the wall for the next like 15 weekends. It's gonna be that like too. You're in like prime drinking season, and you probably went hard that Memorial Day, and you're fucking hungover. You're still pale and gross. Because I think we should move Memorial Day to like June, and then do June through September. Because May 28th is like, you're not on the beach doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have Memorial Day actually be beach weather.
That's
that's a great idea.
Right?
Do have people talked about this before?
It's crazy. It's like we start the summer, and it's like, around here it's fucking cold.
Yeah. That's
summer is September now. I've been saying that for a while. Yeah. September is still summer.
It's like the calendar did daylight savings too. But that is a day where people start to wear t-shirts and maybe pop your shirt off, and that's just never an option for me. So you have like that like, what am I going to go in the pool? No. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So that I just stay as white as I ever was, because I'm afraid to go outside. So like having the summer Mondays back is a tough one.
White Sox Dave, how much of the summer changing in September has to do with global warming?
I mean, global warming is obviously just fiction. It doesn't exist. So I don't know. None, I guess, would be my answer.
Curious.
I don't love the pick just because it's Memorial Day is when hope starts. So I like the hope. I'm okay with the hope that Tuesday. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, we pretty much made it. So
I totally agree with that. I don't like the pick for that exact reason. You got all summer to look forward to. It's nothing but good vibes coming up. Obviously, you don't want to go back to work after a long weekend, but this is out of all the things we're drafting, this is an easier one to tough out.
I needed a long weekend pick. I didn't know if I would get one, so that's why it's there.
Dave, you're on the clock.
Okay, so this one is near and dear to all of our hearts at this point, other than Ed, I believe. So I'm drafting any birthday after 30. Birthdays I hate them in general. Getting sung happy birthday to might be the worst 30 seconds of the entire calendar year. You just got to deal with a bunch of asshole parents and grandparents and siblings and friends telling you happy birthday that you want to talk to. Absolutely, you don't want to talk to them whatsoever. And then 30, you got absolutely nothing to look forward to. It's just one day closer to death. Like you can't go out and get fucked up really because nobody gives a fuck. All your friends are all married with kids, so they're not doing anything with you because they've lost their lives already.
This is just hypothetically speaking, right, Dave?
No, this is exactly what I'm going through right now. I don't have
tell, brother.
I don't have friends. I have zero friends because all my friends are married with kids, and I just don't. And I'm like out fucking trying to pull sixes from bars, and they won't do that with me anymore.
Let me tell you something though. Those guys would do anything to be pulling sixes at the bar. So while you're upset about it, just know that those days that you're miserable, their days are much more miserable than you.
I was gonna.
Well, they chose that. I don't choose this misery. Like, why can't we just have some like global like male pact where we just stick together and say fuck all of them? Like, we're not gonna have kids. We're not gonna get married. We're gonna act like we're 21 every day the rest of our lives. Like, I'm not good at being old. I'm only good at being young. It's like the John Mayer quote.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how different is your life now than when you were at 27? I feel like you live kind of the same.
I do, but it's gotten worse and worse progressively every year because I just lose a friend to marriage and kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you're looking around that Friday night, the options to text slowly but surely trickle down.
They trickle down to like nothing. I sit in front of my TV and play video games at this point like a loser. Just off me. Kevin, you can off me. I give you permission when I get into the office to off.
I'm just saying, though, I totally get what you're saying, but you have to understand there are people, the same guys you're describing are like, he's complaining about playing video games and trying to fuck girls at the bar on the weekend. I want to fucking kill you, Dave.
That's the point. Because I can't, because I have no one to do it with anymore.
I get it. That's why I always say you don't want to be the first. You also don't want to be the last. You got to be somewhere right in the middle when you get married and shit.
The real pack,
Hunter.
The real pact that needs to be made is you and Kevin just need to shoot each other at the same time. You just need to kill each other.
That's great. A death pact with me and White Sox Dave. Wow.
All right. Any birthday after 30? Okay.
I was gonna say,
we're allowed that. Is that a veto or no?
No, I mean,
you can just say my birthday.
You could just say birthday. Yeah, I think it's your birthday.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the day after your 21st birthday, because then there's no good ones left.
I think that's a day of your life, and I would like to circle back and do that draft. Worst days of your life.
All right.
Okay. We should actually circle back and do that draft.
Can I be invited to that one too?
Yeah, no, you're coming along for all the miserable shit, KFC. You're not going anywhere, buddy.
Oh man! All right, Dave, you're up again.
And for my snake draft, I'm gonna go the day after St. Patrick's Day. It's one of my favorite holidays of the year, and I mean, in Chicago, some years it's like 35, 40 degrees. Other years, which we've seen a few times recently, it'll get up into like the 70s. So you're day drinking your fucking face off, and you have the worst Sunday scaries, and you're like, fuck, I got to go back to work on Monday. Like, I'm so hungover. It's going to last 3 days. It's going to be a 3-day hangover, and you don't, like, you can't look forward to St. Patrick's Day anymore. It's gone. It's the day after St. Patrick's Day or the Monday after St. Patrick's Day is the worst day of the year.
It's always well, which is it? Because you celebrate on Saturday, so you don't get to have the Monday. Right?
No, that's exactly my point. So obviously St. Patrick's Day can be on a Tuesday, but you always celebrate on the closest Saturday.
Right.
So Saturday, it would be the Monday after the Saturday after St. Patrick's Day.
The Monday after the Saturday, you just skip. Okay. Well, it kind of twisted my brain into a pretzel there because I was thinking like that weekend is either Selection Sunday, so you got like your tournament either coming and you know the bracket and you have that, or it's actually sometimes some years it's actually the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. It's hard for me to get on board with that time period being the worst.
Well,
because of that.
Right afterwards, it's fucking awful. Going back to work after you just binge drank and gambled your face off on March Madness, maybe. You're, fucking around in the streets. Maybe you're at the Southside Irish Parade. It's awful. An awful, awful Monday.
See, but I feel like you're recovered by that Monday typically because you're lounging Sunday.
Oh, that's because you're a pussy and you don't go hard.
A lot of people drinks that Sunday too.
Yeah, and
I had like a 5-year run where not even the Saturday, just whatever St. Patrick's Day was, I was always getting shit-faced the day after. We'd go to the bar to just do like hair of the dog, and like 5 years in a row, everyone was like, you got that twinkle in your eye where like it's not just going to be a couple beers and a burger. And next thing I would come out with a round of shots. And next thing I know, I was like way more fucked up on like March 18th. So everybody called that St. Clancy's Day for like a 5-year run.
I like that.
Well, I personally love that day, but I understand your rationale, Dave.
That's awesome. Well, Dave, I'm giving Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, the Monday after St. Patrick's Day weekend. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's perfectly put.
Okay.
Perfectly put.
All right, Chief, you're on the clock again.
All right, I'm going back to my youth again here, but it's whatever day you have to run the mile in gym.
Oh, that's a great pick.
So
wow, that's a great pick.
Yeah, so that
Fuck you, Chief.
running the mile.
I dreaded that day.
It was the worst. And like I'm a sweaty guy and always have been, but like especially when you're in middle school, like no one showers, so then it's like you might do a rinse, but you're probably just wearing that sweat to your next class and you stink and you're like super self-conscious in general in like 6th grade anyways. That running the mile in gym is a bad day.
Is, at my school, I don't know if this is the case in most schools, I'm assuming it was, that was once a week for us. It was every Tuesday or something.
Well, that's why you guys won state, Dave.
What?
Yeah, we called it it was a monster lap is what we called it in my middle school. So it wasn't like on the track. You did one lap on the track, then you like ran around the building and stupid shit like that.
I would transfer middle schools if that was.
I think that's your gym teacher being on mail time. Like that's like I'm not like just fucking run. You guys are on your own.
That's crazy. And you know what? Honestly, that time period of like, I don't think I had any bad days other than that. Life is so good at that point.
Yeah.
You're just like playing Little League baseball, riding your bike. Maybe you're chasing girls a little bit. You're lighting shit on fire in the woods. There's no bad days except for that day when you're that age.
I would say one of the best days on that note is when you got that big Little League matchup and it's like, hey, Saturday we're playing the Blue Jays. They're fucking good, man. Like if we have a good game, we could beat them. Anyway, sorry here.
All right, Day, you have to run the mile in gym off the board.
Great pick.
That might be Chief's best pick in snake draft history.
I've had many. I've had many good
if
picks.
we're gonna take that, because that's from a period of time that existed in your life, right, Chief?
It certainly did.
Yeah, a couple of years, but you weren't running the mile in high school or college.
No, we did. We did the mile and the pacer all through high school. The pacer was that beep test on the basketball court.
Well, for a good 10 years, like 9 of those 10 years, I had to do this every year. And it's the worst day. KFC, some of your finest work in print has covered this day. It's fucking moving day, boys. There's nothing worse than moving day. And honestly, if we took run the mile day, I had to move every single day for like, what did I say, 9 out of 10 years, something like that. I'm going moving day, and I want you guys to veto it. Dare you.
I'm not gonna. I think
sign a longer lease, Carl.
I can't, man. I'm bad. I told that's why we introduced you on Redline Radio with your great personal finance. I'm not that guy.
Hey, Carl. But here's the thing: weren't you a mover?
I was a mover. Yeah.
You elected to move, so how is that a bad day?
Because I needed money, dude. Bad. No one moves because they like to move, Dave. That's actually it's the worst job. And I'm going to tell you a quick story, Dave.
Packing boxes.
I once showed up. I was interviewing for sales jobs. I had no money. I had to take a job moving. And I accepted a job to move a guy that I went to graduate school with. I didn't know. He opens the door. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I was like, I know the guy who owns a company. He's helping me out. I mean, it's one of these like cool. He had just sold his equity in like a startup for like 20 million, and he was like moving out of this shitty Wrigleyville house into his badass old town fucking 3-bed he just bought, and I had to carry his shit up 3 fucking flights of stairs. And it was the worst day of my life. That was the worst day of my life. Yeah, that was the worst day of my life. Most humiliating thing. And he was like, "Hey, do you want me to go get you some snacks?" And I was like, "No."
And then you're like accepting tips.
Came back with like a bag of Doritos and Gatorade. Was like, "Is this cool?" And I was like, "You motherfucker, man."
I would rather you come back with a gun and a bullet and hit me in the fucking face. That is a demoralizing story, man.
Yep. Yep. And I was interviewing for insurance sales jobs. That was the most humiliating I've ever been.
Brutal.
That is awful. That's fucking horrible.
It's a bad
Thanks,
day.
Dave. So are we okay with moving day?
I'm good. I'm not going to veto that.
Sure.
I was going to veto it until that story.
Yeah, like it's very vetoable, but that's like you had your.
If you want to take it off, hey guys, honestly, I think Chief wins this one running away already. I have other days. I don't give a fuck.
No, you can. I want you to have moving day.
Because
I want you to have
days.
I want you to have it too. It was a great pick. It was personal. I want you to have that. I'm like Ed said, it's beatable because it's not like a concrete time frame. But I'll allow it just for
because it's like a task that sucks, and it's also like the day before moving day sucks too because you got to pack everything.
Oh, don't you fucking draft it right now?
I'm gonna do the 4th day before moving day when you're
you got to go to U-Haul, rent the truck, write the list.
Yeah. All right, moving day off the board. It's to me. I'm gonna just take up a straight up kind of holiday. I don't like New Year's Eve. I think it sucks. Anytime where I'm forced to be like, you got plans? And it's like, not yet, dude. Like, it's just constantly texting around what's going on. Also, sneaky thing like KFC said, a lot of people don't have New Year's Eve off. They have New Year's Day off. So they'll be working till like 3 or 5 or whatever. And then it's like, oh, what's going on? New Year's Eve sucks. It just sucks. So.
And it's one of those things where like you get to a point, you call it amateur night and you don't go out. But then when it hits midnight and you don't have plans, you're like, well, I am kind of a fucking loser. So it cuts both ways where it's like, this just sucks in general.
Yeah. Like you've certainly had great ones in your life. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a process of New Year's Eve. Just it sucks. That's
such a good pick, Ed, because and some people see it and be like, well, fuck this, fuck number 3 or number 2 or whatever. But that's such a good pick. Because there is really nothing worse than like being forced to make plans with friends when you're over it. I don't want to.
Yeah. All right, KFC, you got 2 picks.
2 picks. All right. I'm gonna go with the Monday after the first round of the NCAA tournament. So you've done Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have been in a fucking K-hole of gambling, of drinking, sports, waking up, tips off right away. You do it from noon to noon. I mean, that was back when I was doing like the saloon specials. We would literally drink for fucking 12 hours, 4 straight days. And then that Monday hits. And you do, you only got to make it to Thursday. There's another round coming. But it's like, I forget like how to be a human in those 4 days. And then Monday hits and it's like, I have to just like sit here and work and not watch. And so that to me is a quick, it's a slippery slope when like by Saturday you are like nothing but a college basketball machine.
Yeah, that would have been my next pick, so that's a great pick.
Dave, are you going to try to veto that on grounds that you already took it?
I mean, I kind of did.
No.
I mean, I was wondering if Dave would go that way. I don't think he can.
I mean, Chief, you're just planting stuff now. You're just planting, and
I feel like that's not
weekend pretty much every year.
That's not confirmed.
That's not true.
I'm not vetoing. I was just wondering where Dave's head was. He was quiet over. It looked like he was contemplating.
Yeah. Thanks for checking in on that, Chief.
Yep.
It's a ripoff. He ripped me off.
I'd actually vouch to say it never happens because you distinctly remember your weekend where you do the tournament, and you distinctly remember your weekend where you do St. Patrick's Day, and those never really collide in my mind. So,
yeah. 2 years ago when we did it at Old Crow?
It does happen, but I usually find it more where it's like, it's like Armageddon. Everything's happening at once, and it's going to be awesome. And it doesn't necessarily have to line up. For my final pick, I'm stunned I'm picking this up last. This is the worst thing, arguably, that all of us do as adults is the day you pay your taxes. The day you got to cut that check. The day, or I guess it's not, depends on if you get a tax return versus if there's a period of time where you're getting your money back. But I mean, every single year that I just got to cut another check for thousands of dollars after they've already taken thousands of fucking dollars is the most soul-crushing experience, especially in a year like this where it's like, well, what the fuck are we even paying for? So nothing worse in life than taxes. Tax day has got to be on it every single year.
You know what? As a resident CPA at Barstool Chicago, I just want to make it clear that the problem with tax day across our group you're going to have is we don't own shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I sit down with my accountant to do my taxes. That guy's laugh. He's like, okay, do you have that? Nope.
My
like,
only asset, which isn't even an asset because it depreciates in value, is my car. That's it.
Yeah, you own a portion of a horse too, Dave.
Oh, that's true. I do own horses.
So, but no, that's a great pick because I think when you get old, that's like a thing in life is like it gets worse and worse because it's like as you grow in life, it's one of those things where
it's almost like diametrically opposed to the running the mile. It's like as that completely drains, your taxes go up, and then once it's totally gone, you hate your taxes.
Do we have a guy? Do we have guys? Is everybody here? I have a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got a guy. Yeah. Kenny Schmelkin. He is the fucking greatest, dude. He is the fucking greatest accountant in the goddamn world.
You use Kenny, huh? How's he doing?
Oh, he is the best. He also breeds beagles. He goes to like Westminster with these fucking dogs.
Damn.
So I always walk in, I butter him up. I'm like, how are the babies? How are the beagles? And then he just does his magic and, a number comes back, and I'm just like, okie dokie, sounds good. Kenny Schmelkin's my guy. You live around me, go to Kenny.
What? TurboTax.
Turbo.
I've never actually had to pay taxes like on that day of the year. I've always got money back.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said like for some people it's a good thing. The day that flips for you,
that's the best though. You're right though. I got like an 88-year-old guy in Skokie, and his last name is Fishman. And my dad always like, "You talk to the fish yet? You talk to the fish? Like, is everything settled with the fish?" Like he just loves like it's like a fucking like you talk to the fish. It's like okay, I'll talk.
That's the other part of tax day is like getting your taxes done. Like all of tax season, the whole process of doing it, paperwork, and then you get fucked by the government. Taxes, fuck them.
Well, I guess while we're doing it, Southsider from Chicago, I use Mike Morrissey from McGreal. I mean, you got to have an Irish guy if you're where I'm from. So I want to give a shout out to Mike Morrissey. He does a great fucking job. My wife and I trust him. So
that's great. Just shouting out the tax guys. All right, tax days are off the board. It's to me. It's pretty thin here, I'll be honest, but I'm gonna go with the one day. It's the one Wednesday every year in the summer that has no sports. It's the day after the MLB All-Star game. It's the day everybody pretends like they give a flying fuck about the ESPYs, even though nobody does. But yeah, that Wednesday, it's a Wednesday nothing's going on the summer.
Thanks.
I told you it's thin. It's not my best pick, but
one day in the middle of the week, usually when it's just whatever, it's like nothing's on. You throw on Netflix, you're fine. But
it's unique.
But I just told you it bothers me. The ESPY thing bothers me. And
especially Ed is a guy who will sit and watch the Hawaii fucking Cal game in the middle of the night and just weirdly like a backup point guard.
Correct.
So a day where you're like, there's literally no games. Is it? It happens once, right? There's nothing.
Yep.
It's a good day to get shit done with your girlfriend. Take her out to dinner and plan a big thing on that day of the year and get that out of the way.
Hey.
Yeah. So Wednesday in the summer with no sports, the fucking ESPYs day, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's my pick. All right, Carl, you're up.
I am stunned. This pick is here at 23. I'm going to carve out part of our audience, though. I'd like to apologize to everybody south of the Mason-Dixon line that can't relate to this. But first bad snow of the year. You got to get the shovel out. You got to fucking whatever it is. You have to do something about it where it's a problem. It's not like, oh, it's cute. Like there's a little snow. Where the first time of the year where you're like, oh, this is a problem. I got to be prepared. I got to take care of this.
My dad's a lazy asshole, and he doesn't have a snowplow. I landed last Sunday when I came back from New York the first time. I go to his house to pick up my car and my dog, and I walk in the door. He hands me the shovel, doesn't even say anything. He's like, "You need to shovel the driveway." I thought I was gonna fucking die. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. My shoulders were so fucking sore. My back I was soaked in sweat. That fucking wet snow, there was like a foot of it. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life, and it was the worst day of my entire life.
Yeah, you're sweating, but you're cold, and you're fucking it's a terrible.
Like the gloves are on, the gloves are off. If it's wet snow, and then you have the fleeting moment. Is this how I go out? Is this how I die with a fucking half a load of snow?
I bet you there's probably a million people a year that die doing that.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I get furious with my dad when I find out he's shoveling snow.
Yeah, me too.
Like, dude, you just turned 68 years. Fuck you.
Not to mention, you do the Feidelberg where you put the shovel down, you start kind of running with it. It hits a lip, and the handle goes to your dick, or you get like a hernia right in your. Oh, that's brutal. Brutal.
Tough.
So my dad, just this past weekend, I was home at my parents' house, and when we had that big snowstorm, and there was a pizza delivery guy who got stuck in the driveway across the street. It wasn't even our pizza. And my dad handed me a shovel. Be like, we got to go help this guy. It's like, I don't know that guy. I'm not eating that pizza. And it was just like, oh, we have to. Like, we have to be neighborly. He's not even our neighbor. It was like, let those assholes who are eating the pizza warm inside dig him out. He's a crazy person.
That's great.
I would not pick. I don't know how it lasted that long. But,
Yeah.
I also think there's a thing as an adult where you realize I need to salt these steps. I need to salt this walkway area. Like, this is my responsibility. Like, there are people walk around, you see your neighbor doing it, you're like, I should get some of this going. And I think that clicks. It literally just happened with me this year for the first time ever, where I was like, this is definitely my responsibility. I don't need people walking around here fucking, we got salt.
And you buy a snowblower. I mean, I'll just say that too.
Support the industry.
Yeah.
All right. My list is pretty thin at this time too, so I'm going the day after the NBA Finals because I'm not the biggest baseball guy, and there are no big baseball games between June and when the playoffs start, unless your team is like in a pennant race. So when you're at the bar and there's no sports on at night, then you have to talk to people. Like, that's how you pass the time. You can't just be like, oh, I'm looking up at the TV. Like, you have to be like actually social when you're out. So when there's no, like, we'll say like real sports or big games on, not that baseball's not a real sport, but it's just like, that's just like a day in, day out. You miss a game, it doesn't matter. When you go from like NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, like big games to like, you go from March Madness right to NHL, NBA, you have like that 3-month stretch where there's something awesome on every night, and then you take that away. That's a bad day.
Yeah, I don't like it because I have baseball, but you argued your point very well when you said you have to talk to people because there's nothing worse on the planet than talking.
Even if it's like your best friend and you're going out to the bar and like you don't really have to talk, but you're sitting next to each other while the game's on, like that's like at least a comfort zone feeling. I went out with, I got a buddy who lives in California. That's just their whole existence. Like all the games end at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Then they're like having to like if you're out, you're talking to people. I can never live in the West Coast because of that. Like I need like comfort of like, all right, we're not talking for 10 minutes as I'm watching the game. That's just kind of summertime. Like you have to, once NBA is over, like you got nothing until October.
Big game moments. All right, day after NBA Finals off the board. White Sox, Dave, Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant, this one we unfortunately can't take part in anymore, but it was an awful day growing up. The first day back from spring break, be it in college or high school, you know, you're going to Cancun or Panama City Beach. You're getting completely fucking roasted, banging chicks from different states that you'll never talk to again.
Totally, bro. That's what I was doing.
That was me.
Just hanging out with my friends.
I wasn't because I
burning shit in the woods and fucking girls at night.
Not to brag, but yeah, it's awful. You're just sitting, you're binge drinking from 8 a.m. until you pass out for an entire week straight, and then you have to come back and go to school and like do math problems and shit. It is an awful fucking day.
Yeah, it actually does suck. But you said you've never experienced soda, so I'm confused.
I mean, I went in high school. We go to like we went to places, but in college I couldn't.
Oh, bro, the problem with that is that at most happens like 5-6 years, maybe.
Yeah.
You
I don't know if
realize
that's
it
like a day, but
many times in high school and college.
It doesn't mean it's not an awful fucking day. It's fucking horrible. It's an awful, awful experience going.
No, I think that's exactly what he's saying is that it like does not qualify as a day, but
Whatever.
doesn't matter.
You know what I
There
want
will
to
be no
throw out there?
hungover day than that day, though.
Can I just throw out fuck Groundhog Day? I hate Groundhog Day.
Kevin, I gotta
Is it
say,
because people talk about it, or is because you don't like it?
he doesn't
What?
like groundhogs.
Well, I
Like-
don't like. First of all, I don't like any of it. I don't like anything to do with fucking Groundhog Day. I don't like the idea of that this groundhog deciding shit for us. I don't like the idea of like the people who really take it seriously or like, oh, what's the fucking groundhog gonna do? It's like, I want to punch you in your goddamn face. This is the dumbest fucking tradition we do as society. Like, what the fuck is the problem here? Why is this even a thing?
Well, let me read them out. Then we'll do a couple honorable mentions. We'll get out of here. KFC, day after New Year's, Friday after Thanksgiving, day your team's eliminated from postseason contention, Monday after the first round of NCAA tournament, tax day, Eddie, day after Super Bowl, Monday after Thanksgiving, day after 4th of July break, New Year's Eve, Wednesday after MLB All-Star game with no sports, Carl, first day of school, Tuesday after Labor Day, Valentine's Day, moving day, first bad snow, Chief, second day of school, first day of daylight savings time, Tuesday after Memorial Day, day you have to run mile in gym class, day after NBA Finals, White Sox Dave, last Sunday of winter break, last day of baseball season, birthday after 30, Monday after St. Patrick's Day weekend, first day back from spring break. All right, Groundhog Day.
Is that your least favorite thing to do every weekend? Is read the picks back?
No, but you got to do it for people who like, want to hear everything and like act. You know what I mean? In the
Mhm.
Yeah,
moment,
no,
kinda-
it's every
Yeah.
time we go through that might be my least favorite part of the week because the wave crashes over me. The snake draft is over.
No.
I'm shocked that KFC you didn't take like Office Halloween. Like when I think of you and like your Twitter brand, it's like one of the first thing that pops to mind is making fun of all the assholes who dress up in the office. So
Good pick. It's a good
Yeah.
pick. I guess the reality is I only lived that for like 4 or 5 years,
Mhm.
and then it became almost a good thing for me because it was like great Twitter material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was personally looking forward to it, so it wasn't on my mind. But yeah, if you're stuck in the cubes, there's a lot more in the cubes, man. Almost every day after the holiday, anytime your office is doing, anytime you have to do like your office, I got to get these tests done online before like this time of, you know what I'm talking about, Carl? You probably did those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say like maybe you and I should take temp jobs for like 3 to 6 months somewhere. And like go back to like blogging from Barstool like via
Back to work.
email.
yeah.
And like could we be deep cover finance guys?
You know
Jordan should play
How
something.
much?
there.
We need to get that sponsored, and we
Yeah.
need to get fucking paid to do that.
Yeah,
Because
I will wear
fucking
business
doing that for
casual
free.
with you. I'll go to meetings. We'll talk
Yeah.
shit
It's like
about people.
The opposite of undercover boss. It's like undercover underachieving employee. So,
Yeah.
like that's what
And
it
then
is.
there's one-
Sale time. Let's go.
Hey, what's the fucking problem with Gary over on the third floor? Like just creating rifts everywhere at some company.
Imagine that you walk in, you like kick in the
Yep.
door, you ruin everybody's relationship, and then you're just gone in 3 months. Like, fuck this place, I'm out.
Hey, coffee fucking sucks around here.
You guys are doing like HR compliance exams and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
And then
yeah.
we're talking about it.
Tell
Like,
us
you
about the
won't fucking
handbook,
believe
Carl.
this. Yep.
Those are brutal, man. Yeah,
Let's
there's
talk
probably
about
a
that.
bunch cube more ones that you could throw out there. I'm happy with my 5, man. I feel like Chief had the pick of the draft. I don't think you finished strong with the day after the finals. I'm cool with my 1 through 5. I think are all pretty goddamn miserable. I like my chances.
And Ed, how are you going to decide who goes on the graphic and who doesn't? I think it's only fair before we conclude that you have some kind of
I'm
peek
going to
behind the
decide. I'm going to decide like I've always decided, and that's I've never decided because I don't do it, but no one believes me. So I'll just say it again. But sure, if you want to, bring out the tanks, put the Chinese symbol on my forehead and blame me. I'm used to it.
This is like when we did a Putin podcast this week, and Putin's like, "Oh, I make 130 grand a year." Fuck you! That's a lie, and that's what Dictator Ed is doing here. He's like
Yeah,
he's just
sure.
punting on authority. Oh, I had nothing to do with it.
I guess
Hey,
so.
let me ask you
While
guys
I get
this.
sewered by the graphic again.
Yo, Kevin and Stirk, what about wedding day? That sounds just like an awful fucking day, like planning and shit, and by then
Yeah.
get it over with.
Anything that had to do with like the rehearsal in-law side was tough because you're just like, yeah, I'm the guy. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, so the day of for me, I actually enjoyed and was like, I'm done. Like I'm not. There's no more bills. Everything's taken care of. No more planning. Day after wedding day is one of the biggest reliefs of your life.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird day too. It's a really weird day.
Well, that's the ultimate.
I'm
and
married.
that's almost like the second day of school where you're like, oh, okay, like the pomp and circumstance is over. We just got to like do this now. That's the same. Also, when you bring your kid home from the hospital, it's like, oh, now you just have to keep this thing alive.
Yep. Babe, I don't have a baby, but I'm just saying, yeah, because I want to agree with you, and I'm a good active. I try to be a good active listener, but I don't have a baby. So this isn't a disclosure piece here.
You get a couple days of the nurses and the hospital, the family, and then when it's just you, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, the wedding day surprise.
Your kids are still alive,
such
though,
average
so good job.
guys. It's so weird as a wedding day is such an average guy because everyone cares so much about you. It's the most anyone will ever care about you in your conscious life. It's the nicest anyone will ever be to you. Yeah. Everyone's wonderful. It's a weird experience because you're like, this isn't normal. What do you mean?
Right.
Why are you nice?
Right. Too much attention. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I got a lot of online trends too. May the 4th, get the Star Wars nerds out of the fuck out of my face.
Oh, come on, Ed.
April 30th, it's gonna be May.
Pi
September
Day.
1st, wake me up when September ends. Fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm with you. Pi Day is another one with the nerd.
Yeah.
September, you can also play September. There's a couple others.
I do like Austin 316 Day though. Chug a beer.
Well, you can't pick and choose now.
I know.
You're either in or you're out.
It's my birthday, Ed. I'm a big 316 guy. Appreciate that.
There you go.
My list is
Lollapalooza
spoken
days
for.
too.
So,
all right, boys. It sounds like that's it. KFC, thanks again, bro.
My pleasure. Anytime you guys are doing miserable topics, I'm your guy.
Perfect. All right.
Fucking fantastic draft. It was nice.
Yeah, it was good. We also should note we recorded on Friday, so pending what's going to happen to me and Dave with this gambling stream, like this could be a good Monday or a absolutely horrible one. So maybe we should have done this.
It might
Monday
be the
morning.
worst
yeah, I
Monday
hope
of your
people are
life.
confused. I hope people are very confused. Like, man, these guys are having a blast. Yeah, it's Friday.
Take the
90
misery.
grand to print.
If you guys lose, like, in a heartbreaking fashion or something, take the Monday after the Super Bowl misery and multiply it by, what, 250,000 or whatever the fucking prize is here. I mean, that's going to be brutal.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. That's it for today, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.